Yo guys, how's it going? And welcome to episode 4 of Caught Looking. We're a little late,
We're a smidge light.
but the trade deadline is our excuse.
Yes, that and the Barbie movie.
And the Barbie movie, which I'm sure Jordan will talk about throughout the episode. Now, both of us wanted to wait till last night to
Yeah.
record this, but then neither of our teams did anything.
No team really did anything.
There was a
honestly.
bunch of smaller moves.
It was underwhelming. This entire trade deadline, I think, for the most majority of the part, was underwhelming. Besides, obviously, Verlander.
Yeah. I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that people thought the Cubs were going to sell with Stroman and Bellinger, and that the Padres might sell with the likes of Blake Snell and Hader. So when both those teams ended up not doing so, I mean, we obviously saw a huge sell-off from the Mets and the Cardinals, and Verlander and Scherzer being two huge names that were dealt. But overall, it just felt like we were waiting till 6 p.m. Eastern time, and there really wasn't that much big breaking news.
Yeah, we thought we were going to have to hop on an emergency, not emergency.
We were ready.
Yeah, we were ready for an emergency podcast. And then it got to the point that it rolled around 6 o'clock. I think that's when I got home yesterday. And nothing was happening, really.
Yeah,
and then I seen the news that it was before the Jays made no more moves.
Yeah.
And then just everything slowly, there was nothing really even coming in anymore. And we both were just like, should we just record tomorrow?
We'll just wait till tomorrow.
Let's just wait till tomorrow.
Do you want to start with the Jays?
No, honestly, I'd rather start with the Cubs.
You want to start with the Cubs?
Yeah.
Okay, the Cubs scored 20 runs last night. We're recording this on Wednesday.
Touchdown, baby.
It was a football score, 7 home runs. We needed it after a really tough loss to the Reds. Stroman needs to... I don't know what's going on. The problem about the Cubs is if Marcus Stroman can't figure it out, this Cubs team is doomed. It's just, you have Justin Steele who's doing his thing, and you need Stroman to be that ace, and he hasn't been it. And I hope that they can figure that out. But an offensive explosion against the Reds, who are actually in first place right now. So all these games are super important, especially come August, September. It was one of those games where, the Cubs... They went up 5-0, and I was waiting. I was like, okay, the Reds are going to come back, but they just kept pouring it on. And it got to a point where it was 10-0, 13-0 in the third inning. And I don't get a lot of them where I can sit back and just relax. I was able to sit there and just hang out, watch the game. It got to a point where positional players were hitting, and we're hitting home runs off them, which...
Did I overhear that Luke Maile was pitching?
Luke Maile was pitching, yeah.
Okay.
Luke Maile gave up.
Blue Jays legend.
He almost struck out Tucker Barnhart, which would have actually been the highlight. I want to talk about something else that happened in that game, because everyone talks about the 20 runs, but my favorite moment was Anthony Kay comes into the game, right?
Blue Jays legend. Let's go.
20-5.
Okay.
And he gives up 5 runs, right? Or 4 runs, excuse me. It's an 11-run game, and our pitching coach has to come in, or he has to come out to settle him down. And it looked like when they finally got that third out, it looked like K wanted to throw up. It was just so bad. I mean, the fans were standing on their feet for 15 minutes, and we're all just sitting over here dude, just throw some strikes. He's walking batters, giving up base hits.
It would be such a Cubs thing to do, no offense, to blow.
It would. No,
lead
I thought to myself, I was like, if they didn't bring in a positional player, this game could be 9-13, and we could actually have a real ball game right now. Yeah. So thankfully, we hit a couple home runs off of Luke Maile, and big 2 games coming up here. I'm super excited. The Cubs did make 2 moves, and these moves came Tuesday night. I think Jed just thought the trade deadline was actually Tuesday night, and Monday night this happened, and Tuesday he didn't do anything. But they got Jameer Candelario, which is a huge pickup, one of the best rental bats on the entire market. He was 4 for 5 last night. Ironically, the only person he got out against was the positional player. But, I mean, he's going to be such an upgrade at first base and third, wherever they decide to play him. And then they got Jose Cuas. I think I'm saying his name right now. A cool story with him. He was actually in the Brewers organization, and I believe he was I don't know if it was infielder or outfielder, and then was told that he needs to convert to pitching. So he took a job at FedEx or UPS and worked with his brother pitching every single night and made it back. I could be getting this story wrong.
Wait, full FedEx uniform, just pitching
No, I think he was cut by the Brewers or something. You guys are gonna have to stat. You guys, I watched the video. No. And then he made his way back up, and hopefully he can help bolster the bullpen. I wanted another arm, they didn't get one. But overall, I'm happy with what the Cubs did. How are you feeling?
You know what the Jays, I honestly think out of the entire trade deadline, I feel like the Jays were actually kind of one of the more exciting teams.
Yeah, I mean, they
at
made
the
big
deadline.
moves.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they made some big moves. We got Jordan Hicks. We had another Jordan to the roster. And I honestly really want to do an interview with me, Romano, Hicks, and Lupo.
That'd be so good.
Hi, I'm Jordan. Hi, I'm Jordan.
It's the Spider-Man meme where they're all looking at each
We're
other,
all
like
like
pointing
this,
at each other.
Or like, you know, The Office where they're like, I ain't leaving, and they're all with the finger guns. It's like that. So we added him. We also added Paul DeYoung. I keep reading as Paul like Dong. I don't. My brain. I honestly think I have undiagnosed like dyslexia or something. But you know that's how my brain works. And yeah, so I'm not too mad about that. The Paul DeYoung one kind of. I think everyone was shitting bricks, every Jays fan, because at that point when the Jays got him, there was no news yet on Bo Bichette's injury with his right knee. Also, I think it was just like structural damage or structural inflammation or something.
Yeah,
along
no
the lines
damage.
of,
I
I am
believe.
not a Twitter like doctor. I'm not gonna diagnose this guy. Like a lot of people did, and were saying how many days he's gonna be out. Just chill.
Seems like overall is best case scenario.
It's best case scenario. Obviously, there's still like inflammation. Basically,
Yeah.
we're saying, unquote. I'm not saying that, but it was funny. My mom was like, "Well, what took so long for the results?" And I was like, "Toronto hospital times for an MRI."
For
like,
an MRI,
I don't know. Like, it's
those in
pretty
like the waiting
brand.
room.
At St. Joe's Hospital. Me too, Belle. Me too. But yeah, I'm not too upset about what we like. Obviously, I'm not upset. Like, we didn't like. I'm not like. Yeah, I'm not too upset.
I think the thing about it too, Jordan, is like if Bo was gonna get hurt, right?
Yeah.
If he was gonna get hurt, it was probably best case that it happened like while the trade deadline was still going on. It wasn't like today or last night, so they could make an emergency move. Paul DeYoung, he raked at Wrigley Field, so I'm glad. It's funny because it's turned into like the Toronto Cardinals or the St. Louis Blue Jays. Like you guys ended up getting 3 players from the Cardinals.
Yeah.
And I think Hicks is a great pickup, especially with Romano out
right
now.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. He made his Jays debut last night. Last night's game. I don't even want to talk about
I was gonna say, man, I thought the Jays didn't play last night. I mean, Ryu returned, right?
Yeah, after 14 months. Honestly, what did he post? Like 3 strikeouts. How many runs did he give up again? I think it was 5.
5 runs and 4 runs.
Honestly, in 14 months, I'm not too upset about that. Obviously, I don't know what the hell's going on in terms of what's going on with this team, because it feels like at one night we'll be good with something and another night we'll be bad at something. It's just like we're never consistently, just overall, I feel like, good.
I could be mistaken. It feels like the Orioles kind of have the Jays number.
The Orioles have us in the chokehold. Ryan Mountcastle. He honestly might have been a sleeper pick for the mayor of Toronto, because that, oh my God, him against the Jays, I don't.
And I feel like we keep, and I'm going to come back to this later because I have a question for you, but we keep coming back to the Orioles, and I don't know about you, but I've been waiting for the Orioles to fall off, and they just haven't.
No, like I've said before, if there's a team in the AL East that's going to be good, so I'm not.
No, you're good.
I'm trying to I feel like I'm sliding across.
You want to come over?
Out of all the teams in the AL East, if it's not going to be the Jays, not saying I'm rooting for the Orioles, but like I'm happy for their fans, and I'm not first off, the Yankees far gone. See ya, rearview mirror, they're gone. Smell ya. I had a sense of feeling bad for the Red Sox for a bit there. I still feel a little bad, but honestly, they have enough wins in their city.
Yeah, the Boston wins so much.
I honestly would rather see a Red Sox win, though. I feel like that a Tampa Bay Rays win.
Really?
Honestly, yeah. I have nothing against even the Rays fans. I also don't know why. I don't know. The Rays scare me.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I don't know. The Orioles are just cooking, basically. Ali Rushman cooking, basically. Yeah, the Orioles, they're just
they won't go away. They're young, they're fun, and
exactly. It's like you could have a team, like baseball's so wild because you could have a team of all these great players, but if players just don't gel together, then they don't gel, they're not going to perform well.
So I was saving this for the end of the episode, but let me ask you now, right? If it's not the Toronto Blue Jays, who is your pick to come out of the AL? I think we both agree the Braves. I mean, the Braves are just. I don't know what you're supposed to do with that team. That roster scares the hell out of me. The pitching staff's getting healthy. I don't know if anyone's beating the Braves, but in terms of the AL, if it's not the Blue Jays, who's your pick to win the pennant?
Got me a real tricky here, don't you? Got me in a weird.
This was one of those. I didn't ask you this
the
before.
Minnesota Twins.
The Minnesota.
Honestly, because I seen today like Fox and MLB, I think posted like the playoff picture. I seen it before we started recording, and I think the Jays would face them if the season ended today. And then when it would then go on, I think it was to play the Orioles. I mean, if the Jays lost to the Twins, obviously that would be shitty. But then if the Twins just went on to win it all, like, holy God.
I don't think the Twins have won a playoff series or a playoff game in a long time.
You know, there's always, like I said before, there's always a team that's in the postseason that just starts cooking. And you're like, holy shit. Like, that was me with Cleveland. I was like, we got a guy with SpongeBob SquarePants' theme song out here. But he's waking. So, I don't know. I want to say the Twins just so, because I have nothing really against the Twins.
So no, like Astros or Rangers, you don't think?
Oh, fuck the Rangers. Honestly, I love Marcus Semien, but like the Jays, just too much hatred with that whole background. So no, the Astros, they've won enough. Honestly.
So if it had to be, it'd probably be one of those teams from the Central Division in the AL, like the Guardians or the Twins or whoever wins that. Okay. There's
just no, I'm not. No, I see what you're trying to do here. You're not gonna make me say Texas. Thank you so much, though.
No, it's gonna be interesting to see. I think you guys have the Red Sox after this, so more divisional games. As we get closer to September and baseball season winding down, you look at the wild card and you think to yourself, like, man, I'd almost rather play, I'd rather be the last wild card team and play one of the Central teams than have to play like the Rays or the Rangers or the Astros or the Orioles or something like that. I don't know. I think, like, if you ask me right now, I'd still lean the Astros to win the pennant just because they're the Houston Astros. Yeah. They got Justin Verlander, and they've been so injured all year long. Who I want
versus who I think.
Yeah.
Is that two different
I think
questions.
I answered that incorrectly. I asked you what team you wanted to. I gave more my biased perspective in terms of who I thought was going to win. I think rooting-wise, if it's not the Jays, I don't really know. Maybe the Rangers. I'm not sure. I don't know. I think I don't like the Red Sox and the Yankees. I don't like hate, and I don't really have anything against the Rays. Maybe be the Orioles. I don't know.
I'm not gonna be cheering for the Orioles. Good for their fans. Wouldn't be mad for their fans, kind of thing. Like, I'd be like, okay, cool. Like, that's great for them. If you wanted to, all for you, man. I won't be, but like, I have nothing against the Orioles. I think I'd rather you cheer for the Orioles than for the Rangers, to be totally
fair
honest
enough.
Here.
Speaking of fans, as Mets fans, how would you feel right now? Right, you come into the season.
I gotta ask a question real quick. How many of those necklaces has Frank the Tank gone through?
Oh my gosh, he's bitten through he's got to bit like 6 or 7. It's only gonna get worse because they sold off so many players.
They got rid of Verlander. They got rid of Scherzer,
Pham, like Marcana. I mean, it's crazy when you look at these teams that come into the season and have these World Series expectations or playoff expectations, and they have one of the top payrolls in all of baseball, and suddenly now you're looking at it, you're thinking to yourself, like, they got to be out on Ohtani because Ohtani's wants to win. Yeah, right. He's not going to go somewhere where a team's not in a position to win. So. No. Tough time being a Mets fan. I thought the Padres were maybe going to sell, but it makes sense that they don't, just because they have so much invested in that team. And they still have so much talent.
I just thought maybe they were going to offload, some of those costs. I guess if they wanted to land Ohtani, because whoever's getting Ohtani, yes, they have to be a winning team, but also it's going to be, like, I'm sure Ohtani's not going to sign for the team from the goodness of his heart.
No, he's going
That's even going for a team that's giving him a lot of money, but still won't win a World Series in the next 5 years. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's obviously has to be a common ground between the both of them. So I'm trying to land the ship, and I don't even know where it was going, but you guys get the gist of what I'm saying, I think.
The Dodgers, because they were really quiet, and then Eduardo Rodriguez waived his no trade clause, which was shocking. Like, living in Detroit and then being like, I don't want to go to the Dodgers. I don't want to go to LA.
Where's he from originally?
I have no idea, but I did see a clip of him giving up a home run at Dodger Stadium when he was with the Red Sox. To I believe it was Yasiel Puig in the playoffs.
Yeah, probably bad.
So maybe that had something to do with it. The Dodgers.
Also, just like, I feel like any player is thinking about this. Like, okay, thank you.
Thank you, Siri.
Thank you. I think it's like with any sport too. I was thinking about it. They're like at the trade deadline. Like, think about how these players. Like, I even thought, for instance, Verlander. Like, at least he's already lived in Houston. I don't know if he can get his house back. I don't know if he sold that house even if he was still living there. But like, think about just the wives and the kids just got to wrap up everything. Yeah. Obviously, they get help, but like, they're gonna have to wrap up everything and just go ship off. Like Verlander was just in New York and now he's got to go right to Houston,
Right
kind
back
of
to
thing.
Houston,
Like
yeah.
it's, you know what I mean? So it's like maybe he doesn't want maybe to have kids. I don't know how old he is, honestly. If he's married, I don't know his personal life like that, but maybe he just doesn't want to also move and uproot his whole life to the West Coast. Like,
I just think it's rare when you see a team that's season's basically over to a team that's, you know, potentially contending for a World Series to say no. But I think like MLB Twitter loved it because it's the Dodgers, right? And the Dodgers always, you know, it was Scherzer
and someone wanted to stay in Detroit too.
Yeah, and someone that picked Detroit over LA was pretty funny.
I kind of love that.
Yeah, I know. That was kind of my highlight of the trade deadline yesterday was him turning down the Dodgers. But besides that, you know, the Phillies got a couple players, the Marlins as well. The White Sox sold a few. But the White Sox didn't trade Cease. They didn't trade Luis Robert. So it wasn't like a full
Tim
sell.
Anderson's still there.
Tim Anderson's still there. It just was, you know, there was not really a lot of impact players, right? There was a couple, you know, rentals, as you want to say, that had expiring contracts where teams like, okay, maybe this guy could help out.
Yeah.
But there was no like huge, you know, I guess Verlander and Scherzer in the AL, but at least in the NL, I didn't feel like, I'd make the case the Cubs had maybe the best move in Candelario because I'm hoping that he can really, you know, help push us to the playoffs. It was just underwhelming. We've talked about it before, and
it's wild because I honestly thought I thought the Jays were gonna give up more. Like, and here's the thing that we talked about too. Obviously, trade deadline. I feel like everyone's just kind of grumpy in a sense, not like players and stuff like that. I mean, like just people online being like, "Oh, this person sucks. This team sold. This team bought." Like, or like Fleece, for instance, right? Like, I feel like, for instance, I think was it the Hicks one? Oh. Who did the Jays give up? It was two like double-A pitchers. And people were like, but these prospects, they were like top 7. Why are we hugging prospects? We want to win now. I don't want to win in 10 years. I want to win now.
It's lottery tickets.
Like,
it's praying that one of these guys turn out.
Unless it's literally like like a generational player that's coming up through the system, I really don't care who we're giving away.
No, I'm the same way.
And like, what's the term? Prospect huggers and stuff like that?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Why would you want to, why do you want to take a not a guess, but like a leap of faith, basically, that you're going to be winning in like 10 years when you could closer chance of winning right now?
Yeah, because a lot of those guys don't pan out, and of course, you know, there's a difference between one of those prospects and like Ellie De La Cruz, right? Like there's guys that are untouchable for a reason, but you know, the Cubs are kind of in the same situation where it's like, all right, we gave up 2 prospects. I don't care about the prospects. Like I want to win now. You know, I don't want to believe that this guy is going to turn out in 3-4 years. I mean, we have a prospect named Brennan Davis, and he's supposed to be the next big thing, and he's been injured. He hasn't been playing the majors yet. And it's like, some of these guys, you're like, okay, you know what? Give me some guy that's established that can help me win now, and let's have some fun. You know, you want to play meaningful games in August and September and all that stuff. But overall, I think when I look at the winners and losers, I think to myself, you know, baseball as a whole, I felt like the trade deadline was kind of a loss because it wasn't nearly as exciting as we thought. There was obviously still some deals, and you know, the Verlander going back to Houston was awesome, and that was cool to see. And I'd so much rather see him in Houston than in LA. Like I did not want to see him in LA. I thought for sure he was going to the Dodgers.
Yeah, no, I'm happy he's in Houston. Also, isn't it funny that both the Mets like pitchers that they got this offseason just both went back to Texas?
I know. Well, DeGrom. He signed with them. Verlander said, bye-bye. We'll see you in Houston. And then, you know, Scherzer as well. Like, that's...
They also were all of our exes live in Texas. Gotta move back. So.
But, all right, guys. Let's talk about... I don't know if we've addressed it yet. But we are going to a Cubs-Jays game.
Yes, we are.
It's a birthday... Thank you to Jordan. It's a birthday present for myself. Jays, Cubs... August 11th. We are sitting together.
That whole weekend is going to be my Super Bowl. I'm going to be totally honest.
What is Saturday?
Saturday is when they're raising, like, it's the Jose Bautista bobblehead thing. So, yes, I will be camped out at 6 in the morning. And kick, I'm not doing that. But they're raising, it's the whole Jose Bautista, like, level of excellence. They're putting him up there, I'm pretty sure. So, that will be, that. Like, I was thinking about this the other day, just real off topic. Like, who's a player that's, like, in, like, Major League Baseball right now that, like, once they retire, you're going to feel old as shit? And mine was Kevin Pillar.
Okay.
That's when I'm, like, I'm old as shit. Like, Josh Donaldson, too, but, like, I forget sometimes Josh Donaldson's there. I forget that Kevin Pillar's still playing, even. Like, but just I feel like when I see, like, Kevin Pillar's, like, hanging up the cleats, that's when I'm gonna feel like I'm done. But anyways, back.
I think like not speaking on that, like
Yeah.
for me, non-Cubs player, like Mike Trout is gonna be one. Like when Mike Trout hangs it up, just because like I grew up watching Mike Trout being like that's the best player I've ever watched play baseball, and when he hangs it up and retires, I'm like, damn.
And he didn't even win a ring. He didn't win a World Series. Let's hope he does.
Yeah,
though,
I mean,
but at this rate,
that's how you know what? Actually, I'm gonna go back to what you said. I like to see the Angels do well. If the Jays don't somehow, I'd love to see Ohtani and Trout in the postseason. That'd be so fun. I just totally lost my train of thought. But anyways, Cubs Jays, August 11th. I'm so excited. I think my whole thought process, like last year, we watched the Cubs and the Jays play, but the Cubs had sold off like all the they were 20 games under 500. The game didn't really matter.
There was like no one there.
There was no one there. I still had a good time. I think, was it that game where we left early and then like someone came back? I think the Jays like came back and won. We walked into the house.
Yes, it was that game.
And they came back and they won. They had like a crazy comeback.
Yeah. And
we had left early. But this year, the Cubs are fighting for their playoff lives as well as the Jays. It's going to be a super, super fun game. I will,
and you guys have to stop trying to mooch Matt Chapman off us.
Oh,
I don't want to see one single Cubs player even talking to Matt Chapman. I don't even want you to look at Matt Chapman. Don't look at him.
I don't know. I think it should be a good game. We don't know pitching stuff, anything like that.
No.
We've talked about it. We're sitting next to each other.
Again, as one would hope. I bought the tickets. I would not put us 2 seats apart.
Is it going to be like a silent yes? I'm going to probably be loud. So it's okay if you're loud too.
That's hard because like usually at games, I feel like I don't know, maybe you can attest for this, but I'm pretty reserved.
Yeah.
I don't do loud things really.
Yeah, you're a little bit more calm and relaxed, I would say.
Yeah, like when something bad happens, like
you're
I don't
like,
I'm like, no,
you're not like hitting the chair.
Like, I literally kind of go.
I've seen you celebrate the home runs.
I celebrate home runs, yeah.
Yeah.
But
it'll be fun. I'm excited to see, fingers crossed everyone can stay healthy. Some of the new guys that we have on the team this year. I think this Cubs team is a lot more exciting than last year. So even from like a Jays perspective, right? It's not just like the 2022 Cubs that were filled with a bunch of bums. That team was so bad. Every day I thank my blessing that we have the likes of Cody Bellinger and, Dansby Swanson and stuff like that. But August 11th, I think we talked about potentially trying to go to Saturday's game as well.
Yeah, somehow.
Gotta find a way. I know
there's no tickets anywhere. So
really?
Good luck.
We'll be scalping on
that
like
day
9 a.m. in the
see
morning.
Me trying to do an interview just so I could go to that game.
I'm like outside the fence being like, let me in.
You know the DW meme like this? Which put up on the screen like this that'll be you.
That'll literally be me. And then finally, I think we have to talk about it. We have to address it. The Astros, Framber Valdez threw the 16th no-hitter in Astros history. Now, funny story, I was streaming the Cubs game last night, and my chat was obviously keeping me updated with what happened. So we flipped over the Astros game. I saw the no-hitter, and then as soon as I flipped back, Nico Horner hit a home run. So that was like incredible timing. I believe 93 pitches, which is, I think, like the third lowest since 1988. And when you think about like no-hitters and perfect games, you think like 100-plus pitches, but 93 pitches, just one walk, an extremely impressive outing from Valdez. And, this comes as the same day they acquired Justin Verlander. So it seems like everything's going in the right direction for the Houston Astros.
Yeah.
But
yes.
Is there anything else, Jordan, that you want to touch on?
Wait, did we already do the surprise topic?
So the surprise topic was already addressed because I was going to ask you what team you thought was going to win the AL.
Okay.
But
do you want to pick another?
Is there something else that you were thinking? Is there any like you want to hit me with like some rapid fire questions, or is there anything in?
Okay, let me think.
I'll be honest with you, I got nothing.
Okay, I got you. If we're gonna have one guest on this podcast, and maybe we can use this as like a form of like manifestation.
Yeah.
Who would you personally want?
Who would I want?
Anyone in the world.
Anybody in the world?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
that's alive.
That's alive.
Can't be dead. Sorry.
Ooh, since it's a baseball podcast, probably go like Dansby Swanson. If we're just talking like sports in general, probably like Justin Fields.
Okay.
Or I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question. I'd have to think about that one. What about yourself?
I would go solely because I know sometimes you don't know, like you don't know how someone's gonna like talk and like be responsive and stuff like that in an interview and stuff like that. I have found that out through my work, and some players just don't give you a lot. But I feel like I definitely have to go with Mookie Betts since he has a podcast. He would be good.
Mookie Betts seems like a great one.
He'd be a great one.
Yeah, his Bleacher Report thing is fantastic.
Yeah. But if I had to go with any sports person, like any athlete,
Oh, I got one for you. John Gibbons.
Oh, yes. I would love to talk to Gibby. We can have a glass of wine on this pod.
Gibby did a cameo for your mom, right?
He did a cameo for Diane, sweet Diane. Because I was like, I don't know what to get for Mother's Day. I was like just struggling, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll get a cameo. Because like I don't know what my mom even wants. I don't know. I'm not great lately with getting presents for people, I feel like. Okay, Cleveland.
Okay, the dog is snoring.
Okay, Cleveland. Like, rude, but...
he's like, hurry up with the story.
Like, yeah. Again, mommy trying to land the plane. But, yeah, definitely go with Gibby. He did a cameo for my mom for Mother's Day. And I think I forgot to put her name, so I had to reach out and see what her name was. But yeah, it was really sweet. I think he mentioned, like, wine there, too. My mom loves wine. And Gibby, kick his feet up, drink a bottle of wine or drink a glass of wine after like Jay's game. So you know what? We love it. I'll go with Gibby or Mookie Betts.
I like it. Well, guys, we're at about the 30-minute mark, maybe a little under. I promise at some point we're gonna get these podcasts longer. We're still starting out. We're new to the podcast.
Would you guys prefer longer? Would you prefer just like
That's a great
30-minute one?
Yeah.
We're full of questions now. But like, because when I think of a podcast, if I see an hour, I'm not listening.
Is that too long for you?
Oh my God. I don't have an hour to spare. Like
So, like,
I
30
could never
minutes?
listen to a podcast and walk around. Maybe if I was walking like downtown, like going somewhere, or
What
like
about,
in the
like,
car.
on a drive?
Car driving, that's literally the only place I'll probably listen to a
Okay.
podcast. I've tried listening to like a podcast at the gym. Not happening. Not happening. But yeah, once I see like an hour, especially like an hour and like 20 minutes, get out of here.
Too long.
Edit. Learn to edit.
So where's the
Screw
sweet
that.
spot? Like 45 minutes?
45 minutes. I would say.
Okay.
30 to 45 minutes. Like
Well,
when we did like a 20-minute one, I was like,
that was.
and you're like too short. I was like, oh.
Oh, you're like, oh,
Shit.
That's our sweet spot. Maybe our thing will be our podcasts are just like super short.
We're known for short podcasts.
Yeah, we're just known for short podcasts. But guys, make sure you follow us on social medias. There should be right here. Again, make sure you drop a like if you're not subscribed. If you're watching on YouTube. And if you're on Apple Music, make sure I don't know what you can do on Apple Music or Spotify, but thank you guys so much for listening. For myself, Matthew, and Jordan. We'll talk to you guys later.
Peace.
Peace.